Good evening, everyone. It's our pleasure to welcome you to the 73rd meeting of the Jacksonville Environmental and Appearance Committee. Our first order of business is a call to order. Call the meeting to order. We're looking at the adoption of the agenda. We've asked the members to review the agenda listing, and we would like to adopt the agenda before we proceed.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Thank you, Grace.
Second.
Thank you, Melvin. All in favor? All right, we're ready to adopt the agenda. Our next order of business is a consideration of the minutes for the meeting of our December 5th meeting. Boy, that feels like a long time ago. We're looking for a motion to adopt.
I make a motion to adopt.
Ms. Grace?
Second.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, thank you for that. Our next is comments from our council liaison, Dr. Angelia Washington.
Good afternoon, everyone. We've had a lot that has changed since the last time that we met, because in February we did not have a quorum, but we did proceed with the agenda items to discuss some things as it relates to the city. But for tonight, I'm real pleased to introduce one of our newest member of the City of Jacksonville Executive Suite, Mr. Terrell Blackman, who is our one of our newly hired assistant city manager. Of course, Mr. Anthony Prinz is the additional assistant city manager. So without further ado, and not taking away from his thunder, I am going to allow each of us to go around to introduce ourselves to Mr. Blackman, and then I'm going to yield the rest of this time to Mr. Blackman. So of course, I'm Dr. Angela Washington, Jacksonville City Council member, have been faithfully serving in this position for 14 years.
Hey, I'm Beth Purcell. I'm pleased to serve as the chair of this esteemed committee. I'm retired from 21 years of local government, both with the city and county, and it's a pleasure to meet you. Welcome.
Likewise, thank you.
My name is Rose Adams. I've been a member since, let me look at the date. A while.
My name is Arcee Keys. I've been volunteer for a long time. I didn't have time to look at my sheet, but welcome.
My name is Chelsea Hemsworth, and I am the administrative assistant for Parks.
Jason Smith, Park Maintenance Supervisor for Parks.
Michael LaCory, I'm the Director.
Grace Hallberg, and I've been in this committee since 2012.
Okay. Melvin Omar Myers, I'm one of the newer members, but I have been here for about a year or so. I left town and came back, now I'm back.
I'm Sunshine Williams, and I'm in private business here in Jacksonville and been here a long time. And I've been on this committee since 2013, but I was on the first Beautification and Appearance Commission long time ago. Welcome to the City of Jacksonville.
All right, thank you. Terrell Blackman, I'm one of the newest assistant city managers here for the City of Jacksonville. I've jumped right in since I've been here. I've already done my first presentation to City Council this past month. But just a little bit about me. I grew up in Johnston County, originally from Smithfield, North Carolina. Went to college, UNC Charlotte. Then got my MBA from Montreat College, and for about 20 years I lived in the Charlotte market, but I've worked for the city of Monroe, I've worked for the city of Raleigh, most recent, the town of Mooresville, Lake Norman, outside of Charlotte, but most recently I was the city manager in Henderson, North Carolina. Not Hendersonville, a lot of people think I'm talking the mountains, but Henderson, Vance County, above 85, just outside the triangle. And I'm very excited to be here. We always joke about managers, it's about 5 years we're looking to do something kind of different. I'm on the backside of my career, and I started thinking about quality of life and identifying a community where I felt that I could be a part of and that I could have an impact. My departments I'm responsible for here, I've got parks, I've got NIS, I've got public services, I have police, and I also have communications. So I've got some of the largest departments here in the city that I'm responsible for, but I'm excited about being a part of this community. I have a lot of experience with environmental as well as appearance. I've been a part of quite a few streetscape projects, Arbor Days, and things of that nature in my career. I was a planner early in my career, so did a lot of land use, a lot of community development. Don't have a whole lot more to really share with you this evening, but if you have any questions for me, but as I stated, Parks is one of my departments, and so Michael and I have been working pretty closely here for the last couple of months, and that I've been here. I'm just glad to be a part of the city of Jacksonville. I'm glad to be here with all of you this evening, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is just an open discussion. Is there anything anyone would like to bring before the group?
First of all, I want to talk for a minute about the value that Terrell has meant to us at the city, and as importantly me, the accessibility I have to somebody at the top of the food chain to, if nothing else, bounce things off of. There's a value to that. I'm pretty sure and competent what I do, but there are times that you need to be able to ask people questions and be able to verify with them that we're going in that direction and making sure we're doing things the right way. And he's been instrumental in helping me decide some of those things over the last couple of months. I think we get along pretty well, and I look forward to he says he's on the back end of his career. I'm not quite at the back end of my head, but I think I look forward to working with Terrell moving forward. It's pretty awesome, and it's nice to have somebody that. And Mr. Ray was available, but the way we're set up now, I literally have Terrell available to me, and that means a lot to me. It does. I need that, and I'm glad that the city went in that direction. There's definitely a benefit and a value to that. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing I wanted to talk about is just kind of give you an update of our Parks Department and what we're doing right now and where we're at. You know, it's real easy for me to come in here in October, those months, and talk about Christmas and all the decorations we're doing. And obviously that's all gone now, you know, and we're now transitioning into a different time of year where, just so you know, basically our focus is getting our park squared away for this summer that's going to be in front of us. Even though summer for some has already started with some of these temperatures that we're getting, we obviously see an uptick in people in the parks. But this is that time where we're really doing some of that fine tuning, make sure our parks are in the condition we want them in. We have our landscaping people going around. If you'll notice, we're doing some work around City Hall. The next time we meet, as a matter of fact, City Hall will have a different look. And the reason I'm talking to you about that, and I think we've talked a little bit about, we're doing some landscaping out here. The landscaping that was here had been here a little over 20 years, or right around 20 years, and we felt like it needed a refresh. And we couldn't think of a better time to give it a refresh than while the streetscape program was going on. So it was important for us to tie in to what's going on New Bridge Street. And if you're not familiar with that, if you haven't been down New Bridge Street, part of it, the majority of it is open. And what you see out there is a different landscape than what used to be there. And when I say landscape, I'm not just talking about plants and flowers. I'm talking about that whole area out there. It's a different look. It's a much more modern day look. And the one thing that there's many things to be proud of out there, but the one thing that I'm proud of is that the city entrusts us, meaning parks, people like Jason and his staff to do the landscaping out there. And that's a big deal that we're able to do those sorts of things. I've always said, and I think Jason agrees with me, that it's very important when we start new things, whether, and it's easy to say parks, but not parks, anywhere we're maintaining. There's always a value, and it's tough on us as a department to take on installation work because it's a different type of work. It's more time consuming. It pulls away from our regular jobs that we have, but we make that work. And the reason we make it work, because there is definitely a value for us to be on the front side of those installations, because at the end of the day, not every plant is going to live. Not every plant is going to survive. And if we install it, it is much easier for us to troubleshoot some of those problems than if somebody else does. We'll be more familiar with what maybe isn't working than trying to figure out why it isn't working. So in some areas you only have a couple of inches of soil. In other areas you may have more. That matters when you're putting plants in the ground and the types of plants, and I'm getting out of my element a little because that's more Jason's specialty. But he's you know, that's what he does, and that's why that's important. And the city has recognized that for years now, and I think that is important. And it means a lot. And you can see some of these pictures that the media people have been kind enough to put up for us to show you what New Bridge looks like now if you haven't driven down it. And it's as important to me that not just the people in this room see it, that any time we can get this out in the front for our community, these are initiatives that the city has taken on. And when I say the city, I mean the staff, the council, the management, everybody. And it's a big deal, and we're starting to see the finish line. Now, we're not there yet, but we're not far from it today. And that's a good thing. And every day we're a little bit closer and we'll get there. And the impact, I think, for some of those businesses a little further down has already been felt. And hopefully, as time goes by, we'll be able to feel that impact here. And I just wanted to talk about New Bridge with you. I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're doing. You know, obviously, if you didn't know, and I'm sure you do, I'm going to segue a little bit away from the streetscape and talk a little bit more about parks, but more like special events type of things. And when I'm talking about that, I want to talk about the Ospreys a little bit. And if you've forgotten, the Jacksonville Ospreys were the minor league baseball team that were here last year that we hosted at Jack Amyette. And they are coming back this year. And there's a little caveat to them coming back, which we're all excited about. And I know the Patinos, who are the owner-managers of the team, I know they're excited about it. And that is that we're going to be hosting the Ospreys, Jack Amyette, the city, the All-Star game for that league this year. There are 24 teams in that league. That's a nice feather in Jacksonville's cap. It really is. And they're not going to pick any facility to have their All-Star game at. They're going to pick a facility that is worthy of an All-Star game. And we're glad that Jacksonville's picked. We're excited. Our staff is excited about that. We take that. That's a feather in our cap, and our job is to make sure that the field looks good and that we have it shining that day, not just through the season, but that day. And we're excited about that. And I think that's news that should be shared with all of you and anybody watching, and that's pretty cool. The last but not least, and I'm probably not going to get the date right, and I have to apologize. I think it's May 2nd. I think that's the first Saturday in May. Is that right? Yes, awesome. I should have done better and known that. But I want to just throw that out there for Susan, because that is the Jacksonville Jamboree. And if you've never been, thank you, that's actually May 3rd. May 3rd. So that's the Jacksonville Jamboree, and that's an awesome event for people to come to. And obviously over the years, we have thousands of people that come to that event. It's pretty much a free event. If you've ever been to Winterfest, it's the summer version of it, basically. Vendors are out there. Most of the event is free to the public. There'll be entertainment out there. So it's a good way for families and people in this community to spend a day, really not have to spend a whole lot of money, definitely not have to drive somewhere, and have somewhat of a family-like environment out there. And you can take your kids, you can take your parents, whatever it is. There's a little something for everybody out there, and we wanted to highlight that as part of tonight to make you aware that the Jamboree is the first Saturday in May. I tried. Last but not least, some other projects that I wanted to highlight for you. The Jacksonville Marina, which if you're not aware is across the street from Kerr Street Park. And if that doesn't ring a bell, then it's at the end just past LP Willingham. And we have been working on that park for a while, and we've had a grant for that. And we are in the last stages of finishing that park up. We have our last piece, well, we have 2 pieces left. You know, I say that and I laugh, and Jason's got a smirk on his face. So we've ordered a shelter for down there, and I think it's going to take about 12 or 13 weeks for that shelter to get here. But once it gets here, it'll get installed, and then I'd love to tell you we'd be done then, but we're not going to be quite done, because what we do after that is Jason will come in there and do some landscaping and freshen that piece of property up, and then the marina will be fully finished, and we'll all be happy that is. And if you're not aware, there is mobile restrooms down at that site. That's a big deal for us, and one of the reasons we went with the mobile restrooms, if you were wondering, and if you're not, I wanted to share this with you, is because, you know, that's a low area there and it's prone to flooding, and what we didn't want to do is invest a ton of money into restroom facilities that potentially could be underwater and ruined and those sorts of things. And what we're going to be able to do is, when we know those events are coming, those hurricanes or floods or whatever it is, we'll be able to hook that up and pull it out of there and then bring it back. Okay, now because of some grant restrictions, they were kind enough to allow us to do that. What they're not going to allow us to do is go down there next week and take them and pull them over there to use them over there. They want them to be, you know, they're permanent, but if there is inclement weather, we're able to move them out of there. I think there's a value to that. I know the restrooms are valuable, if nothing else. And I'm not minimizing them, as our fishermen group down there at the pier. There's a large group of people that go down there and fish, or people that use the ball fields. And I know we have facilities on the building, but, you know, adding bathrooms down there, I think we're all aware is a good thing. So there's a value to the city and to the public in adding those down there. I want to make you aware of that. And then last but not least, over at the cemetery, I've talked to you a little bit about this, that one of the things I'm really happy with is that we had some money put in the capital improvement program, and we are in the process of bidding out, and engineering handles that for us, but they're in the process of bidding out some asphalt work to be done at the cemetery. And, you know, we're the city of Jacksonville, and we can be leaders in that area, and we have a dirt road over there, and putting an asphalt road over there will clean that space up and give it a more finished look. It will, you know, we're constantly dealing with potholes out there and having to put rock in there and that sort of thing. Now, if you're familiar with this cemetery, there's a main road and there's a looped road. We're not sure we can do the little loop yet, but we can get the main road done we're comfortable with. We may have enough money to get the loop done. We'll have to wait and see when those bids come in. Hopefully, the way we're bidding it out is we're doing it with some of the other projects that are, we're adding it to some of the other larger projects in the city. So hopefully we can get a better price at it, and while they have downtime doing that, they can go over there and knock that out, and maybe they won't, you know, have a mobilizing fee for that, and then maybe we get a better price because of that. So just be aware of that. Other than that, the last thing, does anybody have any questions about any of that I've talked about, or anything, or any comments? Yes, ma'am.
So with the mobile restrooms, that's not negate any responsibility of people who are holding events at the park when there are races and whatnot to...
No, if you've not been there, if you're familiar with that space, the bathrooms are, if you're standing on the road, on the far left-hand side. So it doesn't affect the, I know we have some triathlons where they do the running and the biking and the swimming. Those will not be in the way, but they will be available, which I know that's been a concern in the past, restroom facilities. And in no way, shape, or form, I want to be clear about this, in no way, shape, or form, when there are large events, are those bathrooms even going to be enough?
No.
You know, they're just not going to be enough. But for the everyday, and we do have problems with the everyday traffic down there of having bathrooms, that's going to help mitigate some of that problem. Yeah, that was a great question. Anything else before I move into another direction? Okay, last but not least, April 25th, write it down, mark it on your calendars. That is Arbor Day this year. It is going to be held at Thompson Early Childhood, which is right down the road. And, you know, traditionally we have Arbor Day, or at least in my history here, traditionally that's more of a 10 o'clock event. This year it's going to be at 9 o'clock, so make sure you note that. Remember, I'd ask you to remember that Thompson, you know, for some of us a little older, meaning me, used to be an elementary school. Today it's an early childhood center, and that means they're 3- and 4-year-olds is their clientele, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's a different clientele. So our Arbor Day this year may look a little different than traditionally when we go to a regular elementary school where the grades are 1 through 5. Be aware of that. We've had some discussions with the director there, and she's very excited. We're going to have some classes, do some artwork. And one of the things I'm going to share with you, which I thought was neat, we've never had anybody do this that I know of in Arbor Day, is they went out and bought plastic. They ordered plastic shovels for the kids. And so they can help shovel the dirt in. And I thought, well, that was pretty smart. Good for you for getting plastic shovels, you know. So I think for me, it's going to be Arbor Day no matter what. It may look a little different to some of us in the traditional way, but we're going to cater it more towards this clientele, and so we're excited about it. She is extremely excited about it, the director there. So I've had Lisa Miller over there to meet with her, and Lisa will help with what the program actually looks like. And those of you who will be a part of that program will get that information to you ahead of time. What will be important is I will probably have Chelsea reach out at least 2 weeks ahead of time to make sure we know who's going to be there that day. Obviously, as many of you that can be there, we'd love for you to be there. Obviously, we also understand that not everybody can be there. You know, there's sometimes, and right, people are out of town and whatever, then that's fine. But we want to get those things, those I's dotted and those T's crossed. And so any questions about Arbor Day? Yes, ma'am.
Is it 100% outdoors?
No.
Okay.
No.
Indoor, outdoor like last year?
It'll always, yeah.
Okay.
Now that's provided it's not raining. We won't go outdoors.
What's the next question?
Right. No. So they actually, I had never been inside of the elementary school. It's it kind of reminded me, I went to school at Clyde Irwin. I kind of had a little flashback to Clyde Irwin Elementary. But it's kind of neat there. But it has a multi-purpose room like today's newer schools do. But I would have never known it was a multi-purpose room, but she took me in there. We were able to look at it, and it's a good space in there. Things that'll be different, where maybe in other schools they would send the whole 3rd grade class in. She's going to send maybe 2 or 3 classes in, and that's it. While they're doing trees. She's going to time that out so it's at recess. So we'll be able to funnel, if you're familiar with the back area there's a fence line where there's an asphalt road, and that's where we're going to put some trees, and we'll be able to funnel those children in and out because they're, obviously they're going to be as interested in playing as they are anything else out there that day. So just be aware of that, and we'll be out there with them. And it is exciting, and I think it's pretty cool that we're going in that age group of child. I think it's different, but it's also it's a chance for us to reach a different group, and there's never anything wrong with that.
And making an impact at an earlier age.
Yes.
It's just very
Absolutely.
impressionable.
Yes.
But I
Absolutely.
hope I get to share a shovel with Miss Rose again this year.
Absolutely.
We had fun last year.
So any other questions about that? I'll try and answer as best I can.
They're
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
will the trees be on the side where the school buses are?
So
And that-
good,
yes.
that's a great question. So, without, will they be on the side where the school buses are? I would tell you no.
Okay.
So if you're familiar with where the playground is, there is a chain link fence that goes around the playground. And I would tell you the chain link fence that borders the office, not where the buses are, is where those trees are going to go. So it's away from that, and it's pretty much out of the way. That was important to us. It was important to the director over there. So we have looked at that and tried to pick out the best spots. That obviously we want those trees to have a benefit to her and the school, and we think this is the best space for that. So it's a great question. Anything else? Yes, trees that we have. I'm going to defer. I know river birch is one.
We have a river birch, we have a couple crepe myrtles, and we have a couple maples that we're going to be putting in.
So I'm going to
And we're putting
go.
one in the playground.
Yeah, and I'm going to go out of my depth a little and talk about why we're doing a river birch, if anyone is wondering. So where the playground is, which is the only tree we're putting inside the fence, is there's a little swell there, and what Miss Davis has talked to us about is she has standing water in that area sometimes, and the river birch is a little bit of, it likes water, so hopefully by putting that tree there, it will help solve some of her problems in that area for her. And so again, that's the value of having people like Jason that we have in the city, and their intelligence on what to put somewhere, and going all the way back full circle as to why it's important for us to be doing installs on some of our landscaping. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
With regards to Arbor Day, depending on what decade we are celebrating, do we ever plant time capsules?
Not to my knowledge. The last time capsule that I know that was planted was where? At the Commons, yeah. I think when we built the Commons, we put some things, I think we actually got them after 25 years, we got them out,
That
yeah.
would be interesting.
Yeah, 'cause I think, is this our 45th
To do
year?
a time capsule, and to 50
Good idea.
years from now, the kids can come back. and-
Well, yeah, we can talk to Ms. Davis about that.
Oh, we might, yeah, we'll still be here.
Some of us.
So-
We're counting on it.
Not some. I'll see if I can get her to get on board with
25 years, yeah,
that.
we'll still be here. We'll still be here. That would be interesting to do a time capsule and.
Well, especially at that age. Any other questions? Thank you.
Did you have anything else, Ms. Washington? All right, there being no other business, we just have an announcement that our next regular meeting will be Thursday, June 5th, 2025. We look forward to seeing everybody at April 25th. If anybody has any questions regarding where to go, where to park, where to be, who to look for, just reach out to Mr. LaCory, and he will get us straight.
Absolutely. I'll try to.
With there being no other business, we're looking for a motion to adjourn this meeting this evening.
Motion.
Thank you, Joyce. Grace, you're on a roll tonight. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. There being no other business, we are adjourned at 6:31 PM. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all.